Hi, my name is Bobby Albano, and we're going to be starting the book Principles of Real Estate. Oh, no, let me back up. Real Estate Practice. We're going to be starting the book Real Estate Practice. That is the usually the second class that you take when you're taking the courses to get your California state real estate license. So today we're going to be going over chapters 1, 2, and 3. We're going to be talking about the what does an agent do? What is your day to day? How do you pick a brokerage? Topics like those. Very important when you're getting your license to know exactly what to look for. So we're going to be talking about those chapters, and we are meeting every Tuesday from 12:30 to 1:15. And if you are unable to make that time, this is also going to be a recording that we'll have on our training page. You're welcome to review it anytime you like. So with that, I'll say welcome class, and let's get started. So you're embarking on a journey in which you have the potential to make a lot of money. Let's be honest about it. But what a lot of people may or may not understand is that if you want the real estate career to pay like any other career, you're going to have to put in the same amount of time and effort. What I see a lot of people do is get their real estate license thinking that it can be a nice side gig or a nice part-time thing to make a lot of money. Well, if you're going to treat it like a part-time thing, it's going to pay like a part-time thing. So my main concern is that your expectations are realistic. I hate to see that person come into our brokerage, sign up under our brokerage license, and then be sorely disappointed because somebody told them that you can just make money, in 5 minutes. You can make more money than you've made all year at your 9 to 5 job. So, oops, sorry about that. I will silence my phone. Okay, so let me just go ahead and text that person back so they know I'm just not ignoring them. Class. Sorry. Okay, all right. So, what do you do as a real estate licensee? First thing to remember is that as a salesperson with a salesperson's license, you are limited to what you can do with that license. In fact, only the broker is able to sign the contract. So what you're doing as a salesperson is you're signing the contract on behalf of the broker. In the state of California, only brokers can sign contracts with individuals to sell their home or to purchase another home. So what the salesperson does is you are working on behalf of your broker to sign on their behalf. So you are doing the legwork, the feet on the ground work, and for that, you are making a larger portion of any commission that's earned, usually. Normally, when you're new at this, you'll have to accept a smaller split of the commission because your broker is going to be doing a lot of the work until you understand and learn how to do the process and know what to look for. And that usually takes, I don't know, I think once you've done a complete transaction of a sale and a complete transaction of a purchase, then you probably can, I don't know, maybe if you do three of each, I think then you can probably go solo. And once you can go solo, that's when you make the larger portion of the commission because you're doing most of the work. Okay, so who are your clients? Where do they come from? This is another misconception that new real estate agents have. If you open up a candy store, let's say, and you have your candy all laid out, then you do a little bit of advertising. Maybe you're on a street that a lot of people walk by. People are literally going to walk in your door and buy your candy. And a lot of times people think, well, that's the same way it works with real estate. The real estate broker does some advertising. Maybe they're on a busy street, and people are just going to walk in the door and say, I'd like to sell my home, or I'd like to start looking for a home to buy. Now, that does happen. It just doesn't happen very often. The more likely scenario is that you are going to develop your own book of business. What do I mean by that? You are going to meet people. You're going to go to networking events. You're going to let your family and friends know what you do for a living now, or what you're doing with your real estate, that you're now in the industry, and if they are, when they're ready, that you would like them to come to you first. So you are going to start building yourself a database of potential clients that you can help. Now, before they're your client, we have a name for them. They are a prospect or a lead. Actually, no, a prospect. So the way it goes is, when you first meet somebody, let's say you're at a birthday party of a coworker, and you're there, you're talking to people, you're networking, you're schmoozing, let's say. You meet someone, and you start talking, and everyone loves to talk about real estate, by the way. Everyone loves to talk about their house. It's a very popular topic. So you start talking about your house, and then you mention, oh yeah, I'm working with this client who is looking at a house in Laguna Beach, and then they say, "Oh, really? You're an agent? Oh, yes, I am an agent." And so now that you've met this person, you've let them know what you do. Now they are a prospect. You want to put them in your database. Now, to move them from a prospect to a lead would be to find out from them if they need your services. So you want to reach out to them again and just let them know, hey, it was great to meet you. I just wanted to let you know, if you ever have a question about real estate, or you're looking to buy or sell, give me a call. I'll always be available. It was great meeting you. I thought we hit it off, whatever. And then they say something like, we are looking for a little beach house. So, if you ever see anything like that, let us know. Now you've just moved from a prospect to a lead. Why? Because they have a need or an interest in your services. Okay. Prospect, just someone you know, just someone you met. You don't know if they need your services. Find out that they need your services. Now they're a lead. So if you have your database, and you have it sectioned off by different, or maybe you tag someone, or maybe you put a code or something in there. So now you're going to move them from prospect to lead. Now, the next section, or the next category that you'll move that person to, is going to be clients. Once you sign a contract with this individual, asking you, or agreeing to work with this person in the purchase of a home, now they're a client. Once you sign a contract, now they're a client. So they go from lead to client. So maybe the next time you talk to them, you found out that they are looking for a beach house, so you send them a bunch of houses. You send them some that are available for sale, and you say in your little email, hey, I am going to be at the beach on Friday. I would love to show you these if you're going to be around. They get back to you and they say, oh my gosh, that's so weird. So are we. We would love to go see you at the beach on Friday. So what you do is you take with you a contract for them to sign, agreeing that they will hire you as their agent to look for a home at the beach. Once they sign this contract, now you're under contract with them and they are now your client. The next category that you move your people to is from clients to past clients. And that's the good one. That's the one we want to see. So once they're your past client, that means you purchased the house, you closed escrow, everybody's happy. You took the pictures with the sold sign and you use them in your marketing, and now they're your past client. But are they someone that you never talk to again? No, no. You want to get a review from them and you want them to become one of your fans, one of your sales force, because now they can start singing your praises, is the way I like to say it. Singing your praises, telling all their friends. So you give them opportunities to refer you to their friends. Maybe you give them a referral gift, for all the people that you send me, I'm going to give you a gift. Now, in the Department of Real Estate, there are guidelines that you must follow. There's certain money exchanges that cannot happen. So you have to be very careful. Keep things only to small gifts, or in the case of somebody referring you, if they're referring you to somebody who wants to sell, then you can give their referral a discount. You can always give a seller a discount on their listing, and that can be, you can let your past client know, hey, any seller that you refer to me, I'm going to give them a special deal because you sent them. So, you work it how you want to, just stay within the guidelines of the California Department of Real Estate. And that's how your client database, some people call them a CRM, but that's how you get your book of business and where you get your clients. Now, what you will hear are things like you'll get a phone call, especially new agents get bombarded with salespeople. I want you to be very careful about this. Do not jump on every single thing that they want to sell you. The first thing they're going to want to sell you, excuse me, the first thing they're going to want to sell you is leads. They're going to say something like, look, we have buyers and sellers ready for you. All they need to do is go see some houses, or you just need to go have your listing appointment with them, and they're ready. These are ready to go leads. Well, let me tell you something. If you think about that realistically, right? These leads are people. They're people like you and me. Can you be sold? Can you be sold? If you said to somebody, hey, I'm thinking about selling my house, they took your name and number and then they sold that to someone who's going to call you and bug you and call you and call you and call you and text you, are you necessarily going to give that person your business, especially since they bought your name? You don't know anything about them. You don't know if you can trust them, but because they have a real snappy script, you're going to fall for that. So it's not it's a broken system, and the people that work for these lead generation companies, they count on the fact that you're going to buy a bunch of names and you're going to be able to sweet talk them, or create a relationship with them, one that's comfortable enough for them to sign a thousands of dollar contract with you and convert that lead. It's highly unlikely that you'll ever make enough money to make those leads worthwhile for you to buy. So what we do here is we teach you how to convert to how to get your own leads, how to convert your own people, your own leads. It's a much more honest way to do business, and it's much more effective. So, hang on one second. Where'd I go? Uh-oh. No, there we go. Anyway, so another thing, when you go to work for a brokerage, you are not going to sign up as their employee. From this moment on, anything that you do, or I'm sorry, not from this moment on, from the moment you're licensed, anytime after that, you are now an independent contractor. You own your own business. And I can't stress enough to you this. You are now a business owner. You need to start thinking like an owner. You can no longer think as an employee. I see this mistake made over and over and over, especially when I bring on new agents that just got their license. They want to be told what to do. They want to be given some tasks to do. They want to be my assistant. They want to, uh, you know, assist someone else because they don't understand that they're not an employee. You're not going to go to work and somebody's going to give you a pile of work and say, do this work. And when you're done, you can go home. Doesn't work that way. You now own a business, and your business is you. You want to create a brand. You want to have your own marketing. You are going to have your own uh, accounting department. When it's time to do taxes, you're going to need those accounting records. You're going to file taxes now as a business owner. You're going to file the Schedule C instead of the normal one that you did as an employee. So it's really a mindset thing. It's having the mindset that I'm not going to depend on a boss to give me my work. I am going to have to develop my own work. I am going to have to set a goal for myself. I'm going to decide how many houses I want to sell based on how much money I want to make, and then work backwards from there. If I want to sell 6 houses this year because that's the amount of money I want to have, because I want to buy my own investment property. Let's say I want to buy a duplex or a triplex, and I want to start having that real estate work for me. And I need this amount of money for the down payment, and this is what I want to make in this year. Then working backwards, okay, if you want to close that many deals, then how many people do you need to talk to and convert into clients in order for that to happen? And we use statistics for that. we use marketing statistics. So out of here's one: 2 out of every 10 people you know are planning a move. So, based on that, how many people do you need to start creating a trusting relationship with? One that they would be comfortable signing a multi-thousand-dollar contract with you in order to close 12 in this year, right? So using statistics, you can work backwards from your goal into your day-to-day activities. If you focus on your day-to-day activities as being, I'm going to meet with at least one new person every week. I'm going to meet with I don't know, insurance companies and see if they'll refer my services. I'm going to, so it's going to be a lot of little things, a lot of little actions. And I want to ease your worries right now. It won't always be that way. Once you've developed your book of business, and it takes probably your first year, you're going to be doing a lot of prospecting. You're going to be doing a lot of networking events. You're going to be talking to a lot of business owners. You're going to be doing a lot of that in your first year. But after like 2 or 3 years, that's all over. You will never do that again. That's just getting your business running. And that's the same for any business owner. What do they say about new businesses? It takes, up to 5 years to even start making money. It's no different from being having your own real estate business. It's no different. You do a lot of legwork in the beginning. But once you're stable, once you're set, once you've kind of gotten the word out there, people know who you are. You've closed enough transactions that you have a lot of word of mouth. Now you get to relax, and your phone rings, and you just answer it, and that's when clients are now coming to you without you having to do so much work. Okay, so fear not, it's not always going to be that way. But as a business owner, this is what you need to expect. If you get with a good broker like us, we do help you with a lot of that prospecting. And there's a certain amount of folks that come to our company simply because they have heard of us as a company. And we deliver those leads to the agents as they come in. So get with a good broker, and they will kind of ease the the stress of those first few months of being a real estate professional, and help you to prospect and build your book of business. That's what you need most, is just building that book of business. Okay, now who can do what? As a licensed salesperson in the state of California, you now have the ability to conduct an open house, sell, assign a contract on behalf of your broker. Now, if you are not licensed, there are many things you cannot do. And sometimes, when we do get licensed, we want to have some assistance help us. Well, an unlicensed person cannot give out any information about a listing. If you do have them help with an open house, they cannot tell any individual anything about the listing. All they can do is hand them a listing sheet that gives them the information. That's really all they can do. Who is eligible to become a licensee and offer brokerage services? What duties and obligations owed by licensees to members of the public, and the procedures for soliciting and rendering services while conducting licensed activities on behalf of the clientele. These are the things I want to talk about. The standards set the minimum level of conduct expected of a licensee when dealing with the public. There's certain standards that we need to have as real estate professionals. A lot of what you learn through these real estate classes before you actually sit for your exam are going to be questions of ethics and honesty and just conducting a good business. Any real estate professional that's licensed needs to be competent and needs to be honest. Those are kind of the basics. There's the 3 classes that you have to take before you take your exam. Those are going to, like I said, they're going to focus on ethics, and they're going to get you competent. They're going to teach you the basics of real estate. Okay, let me turn the page. All right. So I kind of talked about what the difference is between a broker and a sales agent. Let me go into that a little bit more. So a salesperson, a licensed salesperson takes 3 college level courses, then takes the real estate exam. The exam lasts 3 hours. However, most people get through it in one. I think I took maybe an hour and 15 minutes. And by that time, most of the class had already left, or most of the test takers had already left the building. So the broker's exam, on the other hand, that requires an additional 5 college level classes. So on top of the 3 that were already taken as a salesperson, the broker is going to take 5 more classes on top of that, and the exam will be twice as long. When you go to sit for your exam, you're going to probably go in either at 8 o'clock in the morning or around noon. The folks sitting for the broker's exam will also sit for the salesperson's exam, but they won't leave after the first 3 hours. They're going to go get lunch and they come back for the second half. So the broker's exam is actually the salesperson's exam plus a broker's piece. And so that's what it takes to become a broker. Not only that, you have to have 2 years verifiable employment, and they call it employment, but it's not. It's work directly underneath a broker. So you'll have to get your broker to sign off stating that you've been working under the supervision of a broker for at least 2 years. Once you have that 2 years in and you've taken the 5 additional classes, now you're able to sit for the broker's exam. Of course, you'll have to apply to take the broker's exam, much like you apply to take the salesperson's exam. There will be a background check required. Same as a salesperson's license, you'll have to take a background exam and pass that. The only things on your background exam that will hold you back from getting a real estate license are financial crimes. So if you have, little traffic incidences or, small things like that, they're really not going to, it won't stop you from getting a license in most cases. I'm not going to make a blanket statement because I don't know every single situation, but financial crimes definitely will hold you back unless you can show sufficient evidence that it was a long time ago or whatever. You will have to give them an explanation. I think I talked about brokers are the only ones who can sign a contract between a client and to sell their property or to buy property. So as a sales person, you are signing on behalf of your broker. Some people say you're an agent of an agent. It's kind of that way because you're an agent of the client, but then you're also an agent of your broker. So you're working as an agent of an agent. So if you hear that, that's what they're referring to. Okay. When you choose your broker, and I know that everyone here already has, thank you. There are certain things that you want to look for. Generally, unlike an employment situation where the boss is the interviewer and the employee is the interviewee, it's kind of the opposite. As an agent, you are responsible to interview the brokers. You want to make sure that you are working with a broker who is going to give you training and guidance and support and who's going to be available when you need them. They're going to offer you a fair split. I've heard of some brokers that have totally taken advantage of new licensees because they just didn't know any better. And, I've heard really some sad stories about licensees who did a lot of work and just weren't paid very well because, they were told things that weren't true. Now that's not the rule, that's definitely the exception, but on the same token you do want to kind of compare what different brokers are willing to give you, and what they will provide for you, and the things you want to pay attention to are definitely, you want to go with a broker with a good reputation, someone who is an ethical person, who's an honest person. You don't want to get caught up in a brokerage that has, maybe some improprieties in the past, or things like that. Um, what is a broker responsible for? A broker is responsible for providing supervision. So anytime that you, as a salesperson, go under contract with a client, that paperwork must be reviewed by your broker. Now, I've seen brokers, and I don't want this to be I'm bashing other brokers. I'm not. I'm just telling you the things to look out for. There are some brokers that supervise up to 100, 200, 300 agents. If you're getting into a situation like that, then make sure that the broker has put in place some form of supervision of those agents, so you're not running rogue, because there are so many situations that you can get yourself into that are could go to court. There could be lawsuits because of it, and you need to really be protected. And someone needs to be reviewing your paperwork so that you're not going to get yourself into a mess. So make sure that your broker has enough time and ability to supervise you. We're, as brokers, we're responsible for every transaction that you do because you're signing on behalf of the broker. It's actually me who's under, or my company, our company, that is going under contract with these individuals. So the broker must always keep the agents trained. Anything new that comes out, there has to be some form of communication to each agent, letting you know of new forms that come out, new changes in the industry, just keeping you current on the market and all the laws, legislation that comes out that affects us or our industry. The way that we do it, and the way that a lot of brokers do it, is through a mandatory staff meeting. So this is the way that they choose to do their communication of everything that the agent needs to know. So through this staff meeting, it's your responsibility to be there to get the information that you need. We have one, we hold it on Saturdays. That just seems to be what worked out best for our group of agents. But yeah, and that's the way a lot of brokers do it. Okay. Okay. Licensed activities. Okay, so excuse me, I'm just kind of going over. Okay, so business and license activities. So the things that your broker is responsible for. There are 5 categories. There's administrative, organizational and procedural, substantive activities, compliance and supervision. So under administrative responsibilities, it's your broker's responsibility to cover each agent sufficiently with E&O insurance. What is E&O insurance? That stands for errors and omissions. That is a type of insurance that, we're all human. If we make a mistake, here's a good example. If, you're working with a client and they're the buyer and they, as a buyer, you need to remove your contingencies by a certain date. If you're not familiar with what that is, we're going to go over it, so don't worry. And if you have your client remove contingencies too soon and something is discovered about the property and they risk losing their security deposit or their good faith deposit, but that was an error, you can file a claim with your errors and omissions insurance to have them help with that deposit to get you out of that bind with your clients and make them whole again. It also covers things like if there's some litigation, if you get sued, your E&O insurance provides the funds to provide you with counsel. So that is a very important. You want to make sure that your broker covers each and every agent sufficiently with E&O insurance. Another thing that your broker is responsible to do for you is provide you with workers' comp insurance. Even though your broker purchases workers' comp, that still does not qualify you as an employee. You're still an independent contractor with workers' comp insurance. Okay. Your broker is going to be responsible to make sure that you have auto insurance and that you list your broker as a lost payee. No, I'm sorry. Let me not say anything wrong. I don't know if I'm using the correct terminology, but your automobile insurance also has to list your broker in case you're on the job. Maybe you're going to show a client a house and you're in an automobile accident and whoever maybe it was your fault and the person that was hit wants to sue you, your insurance, and your broker. So we need to be held harmless in that situation. Agent policy manual. Your broker is responsible to have one for you, so you understand and know the policies that you are working under when you work with this particular brokerage. Organizational procedures. Your broker is going to have for you particular forms that you're going to use for different situations. Your use of a transaction coordinator, that's a person who does the paperwork for you. Your use of affiliated services, maybe your brokerage has also has an escrow service that works with under the umbrella of the brokerage or as a partner to the brokerage, better said. Substantive qualities. Taking property listings. Let's see what else. Your preparation of documents, use of attorneys, added provisions, and in compliance, keeps your trust log, keeps your listing reports, keeps your sales reports, provides you all those statistics. And then supervision, continuous daily oversight, constant follow-up with compliance activities, use of assistance or provide oversight. So there's in your book, there is a table that kind of lists all these things. And these are things you want to take into consideration. Okay. One other thing that I want to mention, we only have a minute left, so I want to get this in. One other thing, you're a business owner as a real estate licensee. And as such, you're going to want to keep track of things for when you have to file your taxes. So it's a good idea that before you're licensed, you kind of come up with this model, this maybe your own process for keeping track of your mileage, keeping track of business expenses. There's tons of apps that are going to help you do all of this. You want to also, once you start making your commissions, you want to put some money aside to pay taxes because you're not having taxes taken out of your income. You're going to be paid, and at the end of the year, you'll get a 1099 statement. That's what you'll use to pay your taxes. But the 1099 just states how much money you made. There was no taxes taken out of that money. So you'll have to put some money aside to pay your taxes. You can do, before you're licensed, what you can do is talk to a tax professional and get their suggestions. How much money should I put away for taxes? What things can I write off? Just get all those questions answered. And if you have your process already laid out before you make your first penny, then you're going to go into it in a much better way. You're going to be prepared. You're not going to lose out on any possible deductions. It's going to be a good way for you to start out. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up. Now, I want to make one thing, perfectly clear for you. When I have my 45 minutes with you every week, there's no possible way I can go through every single topic of the 3 chapters I gave you to read. Wait a second. Did I give you 2 or 3? I think I gave you 2, actually. So I am going to touch on some of it, but there's no way I'm going to be able to get through all of it. So it's going to be really, really important that you do your reading before we meet. That way, if you have questions, you can simply ask the question, get clarity on what you've read, and that way the class and the reading are going to work to your biggest benefit together. Okay, if you try and rely on just listening in, I'm going to be missing a lot of material because there's no way I can touch on it all. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that you understood that, and I really want you all to succeed. So with that, I'm going to end it here. We can go over a little bit. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. All right. So, Sarai. Okay. All right. So with that, next week, read chapters 3 and 4, and be prepared with any questions that you have. All right. Have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye-bye.